Jamaica's economy grew in the quarter July to September 2015, driven by the industries of manufacturing, agriculture, forestry and fishing, and electricity and water supply industries. According to the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, Jamaica's real gross domestic product, GDP, grew by an estimated 1.5% relative to the corresponding period of 2014. The goods-producing industry and services industry recorded growth of 4.4% and 0.6% respectively. Increases in the goods-producing industry, agriculture, forestry and fishing recorded growth of 3.3%, manufacturing 9.7% and construction 0.8%. The only area that did not record growth was the mining and quarrying industry, which declined by 1%. Director General of the PIOJ, Colin Bullock, says the outturn for the quarter largely reflected the positive impact of implementation of strategic investment projects involving road repair works and highway construction. He also credits the growth to the 2,000 hotel rooms under construction and the building of new office space to accommodate the business process outsourcing industry, as well as the 3 newly established renewable energy plants. The growth is also credited to the increased production by the agro-parks, which stabilized the country's agro-output amidst a damaging drought. He adds, however, that despite the positives, there were some challenges.
Despite the positive outturn, performance was constrained by drought conditions which prevailed during the quarter, which negatively affected water production and slowed the growth outturn in other industries. The average rainfall level for July to September 2015 was 245 millimeters, which was 146 millimeters below the level recorded in July to September 2014. There was production downtime associated with technical problems at a major alumina refinery, and we had delays in the implementation of several government-financed capital projects, where total capital expenditure was 13.8% less than in the corresponding quarter of 2014 and 52.8% less than budgeted for the review period.
The PIOJ boss says for the first 9 months of the year, real GDP grew by 0.8%.
This estimate of 0.8% reflected higher real value added for the goods producing industry, up 1.5%, and the services industry up 0.6%. The industries which recorded the largest increases during this 9-month period were manufacture up 2.5%, hotels and restaurants up 2.3%, mining and quarrying up 1.3%, and transport, storage and communication up 1.3%.
Meanwhile, in July this year, Jamaica's unemployment rate stood at 13.1%, which represents the lowest quarterly rate recorded since 2012. Not only were there more people being employed, the country managed to set a record in that regard.
This was 0.7 percentage point lower than the rate recorded for July 2014 and 0.1 percentage point lower than in April 2015. Jamaica's labor force for July 2015 comprised 1,320,500 persons, an increase of 16,800 persons compared with July 2014. The unemployed labor force amounted to 173,000 persons, which was 6,300 persons less than in July 2014. So we're saying that in spite of the increase in the labor force, the numbers employed actually contracted. And the total number of employed persons as at July 2015 stood at 1,147,500 persons, an increase of 23,200 persons relative to July 2014, and represents the highest recorded employment level since October 2008.